Today I'm going to introduce to you about the impact of climate change of a 1-degree rise on our planet. So we humans tend to believe what we want to believe. Now, why am I saying this? Because I go around seeing people say weird stuff about climate change way too often. They don't think that it's an actual problem. They go, chill, it's just the summer's getting hotter and the winter's getting warmer. It's not such a big deal. Well, they're partially correct. The summers are indeed getting hotter and the winters are indeed getting warmer, but it is a big deal. Now, to understand the actual impact and damage of climate change, we need to know what is climate change first. Climate change is basically a change in climate. It's a change in weather patterns. It's a change climate change is everything that relates to climate. Voila, that's climate change. But in current terms, climate change means the unhealthy rise of temperature of our planet. All right? Pre-industrial levels of methane and carbon dioxide have already been exceeded by more than 2 times, and it resulted in a more than 1-degree rise. However, in the near future 70 years, climate change will cause the temperature to rise for another 5 degrees again, if we don't do something about it. Now, that's the definition of climate change. Now for the impact. I categorized the impact of climate change into 3 parts: environmentally, socially, and economically. Now, I will go through the environmental part first. This is baby fish, okay? As most of you might already know. Well, climate change has a drastic effect on biomes, on ecosystems, and on habitats. It kills whole species of animals. Now, I'm not talking about those kind of animals that you might be thinking of. Right? Not the beefy boys, not the buffaloes, not the giraffes, no. I'm talking about the newborn, the baby stuff, okay? I'm talking about microorganisms, those more fragile things. But I'm not going to go into those depths. But I am going to give the example of baby fish. As you can see, that is a fish egg. Okay? It's a half-developed, half-matured fish egg. Now, those are the eyes, and what they are in is actually called the egg membrane, but I like to call it the cell membrane. The cell membrane contains their mother's DNA and their father's DNA, and it plays an important part on their growth. Okay? One important factor that it does is that it helps the fish regulate their body temperature in order to achieve homeostasis, which is the regulation of body temperature. However, the membrane inside is not genetically coded for new changes in the environment. With climate change drastically coming into the oceans like a giant meteorite, all right? The membrane inside the cell will not be able to adapt to the change, and it will go rogue. It would end up killing the fish, to be precise, because they will not be able to achieve homeostasis. With them dead, millions will die as well. Let me just specify things here. A 0.01 degree temperature rise is enough to kill off a species of fish. Now multiply that by 100. Which is the temperature rise of the past 50 or so years. You get the idea. More stuff that feeds on the fish dies as well, and the things that are closely related to those kind of species dies, like corals and reefs, all right? And algae will also bloom, which is bad. And one of my friends are gonna talk about it later. Now that's environmentally, how it would impact the environment. Basically, the coastal population and the coastal ecosystem would be utterly destroyed. Bad. And now I'm going to introduce you to the SDGs. This would aid me in explaining how climate change could impact our lives economically and socially. The SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals, and they're originally founded by the United Nations in 2015 in hopes to be achieved by 2030 and 2050. As you can see, climate change is goal 13 on there, and it is arguably the most crucial because it is linked to every single other goal, including reduced inequalities. Right? And, well, each is connected, so climate change can impact every aspect of our lives. Going back to the example I just made on baby fish, with them dead, the water's going to be littered with thousands of fish corpses, which would result to unsanitized water. But that's only the small part. The big part is that fishing industries would go bankrupt. They will go kaput because they would have no fish to fish anymore. Okay, because all the fish are dead. Without enough fish to fish, right, they would be plunged into poverty because those poorer coastal populations would lose their main source of income. With poverty comes all kinds of problems. For example, hunger, starvation, good health and well-being, and most of all, quality education. With no quality assuming that you actually survived poverty, okay? Assuming that you actually survived it, you will face a problem when you've grown up. That means you can't land a successful job. Without successful jobs, it means that the economy is going to be in shatters because the economy is basically built up of the buying and selling of goods. However, without an income, you cannot buy stuff, right? So economy will plummet, which will lead to unsustainable production, which is goal 12. There will be no sustainable consumption and production. Without those, there can be no sustainable infrastructure, and the cities will get abandoned because it won't be sustainable cities and communities anymore. People will leave. They will need to get shipped to other countries, okay? But then domino effect follows, and they will die as well, which will lead to an end of the world scenario as we know it. Millions will die, and millions will follow. Now that is the social and economical impact of climate change. Climate change is not a problem for future generations anymore. It's like a truck that you know it could be hitting you anytime. So why walk on the road then? Okay? You can't hope climate change to disappear just by hoping climate change to disappear. Just start doing something. Starting today. Thank you. I also I cut out some parts from one of my favorite songs, and I linked it as an appreciation for Mother Earth. So now I'm gonna recite it for you. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, Earth. We are no strangers to you. But today, I just want to tell you that we are never going to give you up. We are never going to let you down. We are never going to run around and desert you. We're never going to make you cry. We're never going to say goodbye. We're never going to tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long, so I'm never going to let you go. Never going to say goodbye, and never going to smoke cigars to hurt you. The end.